On tonight's show, LB and Nubbins discuss Manchester City's issues. 115 is officially over, and Bruno G Hype will smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and hashtag make that city great again. See what we've come to, bro.
Don't forget to hashtag, guys.
Don't forget to hashtag, guys. Yeah, yeah. Look what happened to us, man. Yeah, we used to talk about winning trebles, bruh. You know what I mean? And now we're doing Make Man City Great Again merch soon and come. But yeah, hopefully you guys are all doing well. Smash these likes up if you've not done so already. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Nobbins' channel. Link is in the description of the stream. Nobbins, how are we?
Very well, thank you. Just eaten 2 bratwursts. I got one more, which I might be snacking on as we proceed. That is what I've got on my dinner menu tonight, or tea. But yeah, how are you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. What do you make of the hashtag MCGA, Make Man City Great Again?
Look, clearly this is a powerful movement, and we need to exploit it with merchandise.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we got a lot of members, man. A lot of people in the chat are joining the hashtag MCGA Make Man City Great Again situation. A lot to discuss in a short period of time tonight, guys. We need to get stuck into it. I do just want to quickly touch on the 115 case. There's not much to talk about. However, the case is now finished. The 2 parties made their closing statements. Maybe Nobbins can let us know sort of how that happens. That was on Friday. And now the 3-man panel deliberate over all the evidence and we'll come to a conclusion. And then we'll get the conclusion pretty soon. But yeah, that is now finished. We're now just waiting on the outcome of that. If Manchester City are found guilty, my understanding is that it goes back to another, they have to all go back again. And then they basically argue about what the punishments should be. So the court is finished unless Manchester City get found guilty for something. But I don't know, maybe obviously you got a better background in this than me. Is there anything else there that you can expand on?
No, that's a pretty good summation, yeah. And then obviously there's the opportunity to appeal as well, depending on the outcome. But yeah, like I know that when the news broke, people were like, "Oh, what's the outcome? What's the outcome?" It's like it doesn't work like that. We'll have to wait for a bit of time until we get the ultimate conclusion. And as I say, depending on that, I'm sure that we will see appeals as well. So it's just like, you know, the one step in many of however long this process is going to take. You know, people shouldn't be thinking we're going to find out next week, you know, and it's going to be all concluded next week. Like it's going to take a bit more time in that sense. But yeah, you know, just I'll be happy when it's over. Obviously, assuming it's a positive result, just because I can't be bothered talking about it. Well, actually, no, I can be bothered talking about it. I can't be bothered talking about it with people who don't know what they're talking about. I think that's the point, isn't it?
I hear you. Yeah. No, you know what's mad as well, right? Is just like I really like just bored of this. I can't wait for it to be finished. And obviously, it is almost finished. They finished the first round of court case, but like, I just can't be bothered talking about it no more. Like from a content point of view, like it's mint. Like I can talk about it. There's loads of stuff to talk about. People love chatting about it in the chat, and like we can talk about it for hours. And I've done in the past, but it's got to the point now where I'm just like, I just want this done, innit? You know what I mean? If we're guilty, we're guilty. If we're not guilty, we're not guilty. I just want it finished and done and just move on, innit? You know what I mean? And if we do get not guilty, I will go ham on it because like they've basically cooked our club for the last couple of years, and we've just sat here and took abuse from everybody for the last couple of years. But I'm just gonna be happy. I'm just gonna be happy when this is over. But yeah, anyway, I thought I'd just let you know that, guys, because I know not everyone is on I know not everybody's obviously on Twitter and that, so some of you guys might not have seen the news, but yeah, the 115 case now is officially over. They do go back for a second round should Manchester City be found guilty, and that will be then about the sort of punishment. So if Manchester City never have to step foot in the court again, that means we've won. But yeah, there we go on that one. Smash these likes up if you've not done so already, guys. Let's speak about the weekend's game. More dropped points, 2-2 draw. At least it wasn't a loss. That's sort of like the positive spin on it at the moment because we've been that bad. A bit of a weird game, really, wasn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt that the win was there for us. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like we was completely crap, but just not good enough to win the football match, I felt. And I felt like it probably was a draw. It was a fair result in my personal opinion. But it's another game that we've not played well enough to come away from the game with 3 points. Conceding too many goals again. Defensive problems for both goals. I think there are defensive issues on both of the goals for me. But yeah, we've not really spoke about the games that much, have we? So what's your views on the Palace, man? 2-2.
Yeah, weird game. Same issues that we've experienced throughout the entirety of the season. Walker making errors, obviously, but the midfield is too frail and weak. So we are covering ground that we have already covered, but it's just the same issues every single time. Going forwards a little bit better, but still not ideal. In my opinion, Savio was wasted in the game. Focusing too much of the play down the left-hand side when Nunes is out at left wing doesn't make sense to me. I know he got an assist, and that's lovely, but it just seems like a really weird strategy it seems like a weird strategy for me to make the strategy, get Nunes into 1v1 situations with his fullback. That, if it was Doku out there, I could understand it, but it's Nunes. I don't really get that. We know the dual winning situation is poor. We could have been a bit more clinical in front of goal, but we didn't create too many fantastically clear-cut chances, in fairness. We scored 2 goals at Palace. That should be enough to win the game, but it's the same old, same old. Our midfield doesn't protect our defence well enough, and outside of, players like Ruben Diaz, I thought Gvardiol played well as well, to be fair. We're just like, our individual defenders are not up to it either. So it's just same old from a City perspective, which is frustrating. Because, as you say, we had 20 minutes to win that game, and we just opted not to, and it was very frustrating.
No, I agree. I agree, man. It is that is exactly right. Our defending is still not good enough. I still think that. Do you still think obviously we do have defensive issues in terms of like, and maybe this isn't the perfect game to sort of speak about it, but do you still believe that the majority of our issues, both in defence and attack, but let's just stick with the defence now, is because of our midfield? I know Palace is probably not the right game to talk about that because obviously Kyle Walker was playing the guy on the side for the first goal and then just decided not to jump for the corner. But as a whole, do you still feel like the midfield is mainly to blame, or do you actually feel like no, actually more criticism needs to go on the defenders?
Yeah, it's the issue still stems from the midfield, doesn't it? Like that's where it all boils down to. I think you and I have discussed this before. I don't really understand the thought process from Pep of shoving Nunes out on the left when we clearly saw against Forest. Look what happens when there is some physicality in there with Grealish. Grealish wasn't available according to Pep, so we just ditched that when there's a player in Nunes there. And again, he's obviously nowhere near as comfortable on the ball as Grealish, but he still was going to offer something from that perspective. And again, he just like went back to an idea which hasn't worked all season. I think someone like said in like a YouTube comment that the midfield duo with like Bernardo Gundogan hasn't won one game this entire season. I think that's what he says.
I said this on my review as well. I completely agree with you. I felt it was bizarre. Like he literally tried something against Forest, something new, and it worked. And it worked really well with Grealish as your runner. Yeah, you have De Bruyne as your creator, and then Bernardo out wide, right? In that Forest game, bro, Bernardo had his best performance in a City shirt for ages. Bernardo was brilliant, I thought, against Forest. Kevin De Bruyne was the creator. Gundogan had the legs in the middle, which took the pressure off Gundogan. Gundogan had the Grealish had the legs. Gundogan had his best performance, and it's spot on against Palace. He completely abandoned that and then went back to the system that's not been working. And I keep on getting these comments from people saying, "But Grealish was not injured. Grealish was not fit, and Doku wasn't fit, so he couldn't do it." No, he could do it, just with different players. Nunes is very, very fast, yeah, and has the energy and has the physicality to do what Grealish can do. Doesn't have the ball control. I completely accept, and maybe would lose the ball a little bit more, but the idea of just saying, well, because he loses the ball a couple of times, that we should just abandon what's worked for the first game in 8 matches, I just thought was very strange. And then to compound that by not playing Nunes in the middle, by putting Bernardo in the middle, who just had a really, really good game against Forest, I thought was completely baffling. And I was just completely confused. You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy, man.
It is weird. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my video analyzing it, but if you didn't, and maybe just for like the benefit of the chat anyway, would you be interested in hearing about like the loose ball duels and the defensive
Go on.
duels in the game?
Go on. Well,
Yeah.
I already covered the ground duels, which was appalling. But go on. Yeah, show us what stats you've got for us.
Yeah, so I've got loose ball duels won and lost, obviously. So that's like sort of like second balls. So Rico Lewis 0 out of 2.
Yeah.
Bernardo 1 out of 3. Gundogan 0 out of 1. And then you go to the defensive duels, which I think you said you maybe covered. You know, Rico 2 out of 6, Bernardo 1 out of 2, Gundo 1 out of 3, and then out at left wing where it's largely irrelevant. Mateus Nunes winning 80% of his defensive duels, 7 out of 9, and that just sort of like sums everything up really from that perspective. Like the one player who is in terms of those midfielders who is winning duels is just shoved out to the left where it's largely irrelevant where he wins them anyway. It's just I don't know what we were expecting going with that team.
It's honestly insane, and yeah, it was kind of funny, man, because I called it before the game, called it during the game, and then I called it after the game. And then, you know, I don't know if you get these people, but I get these people who come on my channel, right, who only watch my content when we lose, who are City fans. And they only watch my content when we lose and then criticize me for saying something negative. And it's like, bro, you're not here for all the other games when we're winning. I only see you in the chat when we're losing games. And then they call you negative for something. And it's like some guy called and said, why didn't you say this before the game? I said this before the half the chat. I was doing the watch along, and I'm sure you was the same. Half of the chat was saying the same thing. The whole chat was saying, why has he done this? You know what I mean? Like, what's he doing this for? And I'm like, there's these people out there who are just like so blinded that you can never say anything. I don't know what they talk about with the mates when they're talking about football. It's like, because you say anything and it's like, no, you can't say that. And it's like, bro, what's wrong with these people? Honestly, man, it's actually insane. You know what's scary as well? I remembered something today. You know what's scary? I literally predicted exactly what would happen in this game. Check this out, bro. This is yeah. This is at 25 minutes, 1-0 Palace. Yeah, listen to what I say,
Nostradamus.
Bro, check this out, yeah? But that, like, I know it sounds stupid, isn't it? But like, we can score 3 goals. I know we've scored none, and we're 25 minutes in here. But I back us to score a couple today, 100%. The question is, can we get 3? I don't know. I think we can get 2. 3 might be a stretch. So a 2-2 draw looks possible. There you go. I let you predict it. It's mad. When you're watching City at the moment, right? We are honestly so easy for City fans because we watch every game, right? And I'm not saying I'm the only one that predicted that. There'll be loads of City fans out there predicting that. We're so easy to see what's going to happen in the football match. We can literally see it. Like when we're watching the game, yeah, we're all like watching it going, yeah, we know how this is going to end. We knew at 1-0 to Crystal Palace that they was going to score another goal. We all knew that. Bro, City fans who are not just like blinded by bias. You know, you get the odd City fan who are just like, we're gonna win, and it's like, yeah, the City fans who are just like real and can see that like what's going on the football pitch. We all knew that was going to concede another goal in that game. So I was looking at it going, well, unless we score 3 goals, we ain't winning the game today. And that's what's happening at the moment. Yeah, we our defense is absolutely horrific. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we are literally going into games, bro. And if we don't score 3 goals, we're cooked. And I feel that like that is
even against Feyenoord, we scored 3.
That's what I'm saying.
And that wasn't enough.
Bro, it's like, unless we score 3 goals, we probably ain't going to win football matches. And we need to speak about this, mate, because this form is not good enough. And the way that we're defending is horrific. Now, I know that we've got injuries, and I know the injuries are bad and causing us real issues. I completely get that, and I'm completely sympathetic with the situation. It is a little bit of their own making because the squad building has been poor, to be honest with you. But going forward, when fit, yeah, we need to play that back 4 of a Kanji, Diaz, Ake, Gavadio, or Gavadio in the middle, Ake left back, yeah. That for me is what we need to do. Now, obviously, again, you can only do that when they're fit. But when they are fit, that's what we need to do. Do you know what I'm saying? And you know, we've got an issue with Kyle Walker, which is I think it's a very sad situation, the way that this has just gone completely downhill, because he's just at fault every time he's on the pitch for a goal, which is super poor. and he's just getting absolutely rinsed from City fans every day on Twitter, every day on Instagram. He's getting abused. He's getting cooked. And I personally believe I said this morning on the video. I personally believe that the best thing for all parties at this moment in time is that he leaves in January. And that's not me saying get him out of the club. He's crap. I'm saying that partially thinking about him, because this cannot be healthy for him, Nobbins. Yeah, he's getting absolutely rinsed, and City are getting rinsed every time he plays, which is not good. So I'd move him on in January for his own sake, pay him off, whatever. He's been a legend of the club, fair dues, pay his contracts off, no problems with that. But yeah, I think for me, yeah, the defenders need to improve. I still think the midfield is a lot to blame because we can't win second balls. We don't win aerial duels in the middle. We don't win second balls. So yeah, that's where I'm sort of at with it, man. And it is frustrating and it is sad, but I've kind of gone past the angry point. I went through the angry point about 5 weeks ago when we lost like 3 or 4 games, in a row or something like that. And I was like, yeah, we're toast here. I'm past that point now. I'm sort of more at the sort of like, I'm sort of at the sad stage, of the grief, where I'm sort of like, this is sad. Watching Gundogan get cooked every game is sad. Watching Kyle Walker get cooked every game and costing us goals and then getting absolutely ripped apart online is sad. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm sort of at with it, mate. But like, I don't know where we go from here in terms of like, because we've still got games to play until January. And you know what's hilarious, right? Is quite interesting. One of the reasons, and I said this again on the video today, one of the reasons I thought we was in crisis 6 weeks ago is because I didn't feel that we had the in-house personnel to sort the situation out. And I remember watching your video, and I spoke about this today, that our City broken, and you sort of went down the same road. The frustrating thing is we sort of found a system that worked against Forest, and it's like, oh, maybe we do have the in-house solutions to solve the problem. At least just get us to January, and then he's just completely abandoned it again for the next game, and then lo and behold, we didn't win. So yeah, just a lot of frustration. It is definitely a year of transition. Unfortunately, it's a year of Pep Guardiola said, "What is it? A year of pain?" I think he said, and that's definitely right. But yeah, I don't know if you've got anything else to add on to the defensive woes, the midfield situation.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, Pep's not been helped by injuries. It is a mad situation in terms of the injuries, for sure. It is his fault that we only have 7 defenders, including Rico Lewis, outside of like youth play. So that is sort of his fault. And obviously one of those is Walker and 2 of those are injury prone. So that is his fault. Yeah, the thing that I don't really have sympathy for from a Pep perspective, is the lack of trying Nunes in the centre. I know we keep going on about it, but he did it against Feyenoord, and sure, it was only Feyenoord, whatever. But he and Gundogan played in the double pivot against Feyenoord, and we went 3-0 up. Before the capitulation, we were 3-0 up. Before like Gundogan went off and Foden, etc., they all went off. So that, and I thought Nunes played really well that game. So it can clearly work. And then the next game, he rewarded that by popping out at left wing. And then we saw it work with Grealish. And then again, next game just abandoned. So it's this weird lack of wanting to move away from what he's comfortable with, Pep. And I just, again, people will say, but Nunes' first touch isn't good enough. His on-ball work isn't good enough. But we're beyond the point where that matters for me.
I completely agree.
Yes, because let's take a situation with Rico Lewis, whose first touch is very good. Now, there was a moment in that game where Rico Lewis receives the ball, plenty of time and space on the ball. Like Diaz plays it into him, and Rico Lewis on the ball. But then a Palace player just comes in onto him. As soon as he makes contact with him, then immediately that physical battle's done from a Lewis perspective. And he's probably going to end up on the floor because he's not strong enough. So it's all well and good saying, oh, but we need our control-based players to control the game and not lose the ball. But they're losing it anyway because they aren't strong enough. And you don't have to have a midfield of giants. We've had David Silva and Nasri and Bernardo Silva. Like you don't need all these tall players, but you need balance there, clearly. So there's no use in playing all these control-based players if they're all physically incapable and the opposition knows that full well, and they can just easily take the ball off them. So from my perspective, that issue already exists. Can it get worse? I don't think it can. Can it improve our physicality, though? Yes, it can. So I think it's a risk worth taking. And if it doesn't work after a couple of games, then it doesn't work and it's a failed experiment. But we haven't even seen it consistently yet. As I say, we've seen it twice this entire season. One against Watford, which doesn't count, and one against Feyenoord when it really worked nicely with him and Gundogan in that pivot. So I would like to see that. And I would like to see us go back to like a 3-2 rather than a 3-1 as well.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, on everything you just said there. In the sense that
if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we move on. But give it a go. That's my
bro. Like, at the end of the day, we're in the period of experimentation anyway. I mean, with 4 or 5 years into the Grealish project, he's finally played in midfield. He's like, oh, maybe he's midfield. So we're clearly in the experimentation phase. Listen, I'm not Nunez's biggest fan, as everybody knows. I think he's an all right player. I'd have him as squad rotation, but I'm not that fussed about him. Is what it is, right? I'm not his biggest fan. I said it was a panic buy. Yeah, is what it is. However, yeah, I do feel that people are being a little bit more sort of, how to say it? Sort of like, they're basically saying he's worse than he is on the ball. Is he great on the ball? No, he's not. But he's not as bad as some people making out, in my opinion, personally.
He's not got like a trampoline touch, and he's not like absolutely horrendous. He was succeeding at Sporting in central midfield.
Bro,
so
he's not as bad as people make it out.
He can clearly do it. To the level that we would want, no. But to the level of, like, you know, the first touch immediately gives the ball away every single time. No, it's not absolutely horrendous for me.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, like the pros of having pace, energy, and physicality 100% outweigh the cons of his first touch and ball control not being at the standard that we really need. And by the way, may I remind people, this is only until January, hopefully, because hopefully in January, the club fucking pulls its finger out of its ass and buys some players. Because I tell you something, if they don't buy players, top 4 could be at risk the way we're going on this form. We've won 1 in 9, may I add. Yeah. So this is only until January. This whole period that we've been in since Rodri got that ACL injury, and I did a stream at the time. Again, I bet I got cooked in that comment section as well. I said, our job now is to get to January in a title race. Our season will be determined by the January transfer window. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear that we're going to be in a title race by January, right? However, right, we still want to be winning football matches, winning 1 game in 9 and having the second worst form in the league, out of the last 6 matches is not ideal. So for me, I just try him in the midfield, give him a go. And like you say, if it doesn't work and we draw another game or we lose another game, well, it's 1 more to add to the 9. That we won 1 in 9 in. I just don't understand. And by the way, we've seen this against Feyenoord. Go watch the player ratings. Nunez was one of the best players on the pitch. No, he was. He was one of the best players. And guess where he played? Midfield. And we then, so that worked. Yeah. That then worked. He's then played Grealish in the midfield, which worked. For me, personally, this proves the point, that having energy around Gundogan is needed. Yeah, Gundogan played all right against Feyenoord. He still wasn't the best, but he played all right. Then you put Grealish in for Forest, and he was actually pretty good, to be honest with you, Gundogan. And then you take him out, you take the legs out next to him, you put Bernardo Silva next to him, and again, I thought he was poor against Palace. For me, Pep Guardiola has found the solution. He's found it. He found it against Feyenoord, weirdly, even considering we drew the game, and he found it against Forest. In my opinion, I'm giving him praise. This is props. This is good. I'm saying, yo, bro found a solution. And then what did he do against Palace? Just abandoned it again. And yeah, I just don't really get it. And people are saying he didn't have the players. He could have played Savio left and Bernardo Silva right. And
yes,
that would have been much better than what he did. So listen, I think that Pep has to take a little bit of the blame for the result against a Palace. And I know there's a lot of City fans out there that don't like hearing stuff like that, but I think it's true. Obviously, defensive issues with Kyle Walker. Yes, he was poor. But the blame is very rarely just down to one person. Very rarely down just to the manager or just.
There are 11 players on the football pitch.
Correct. There are 11 players on the football pitch. So I'm not going to sit here and say it's all Kyle Walker's fault. I'm not going to sit here and say it's all Pep Guardiola's fault. Pep Guardiola, for me, is partially to blame for the system. Walker's partially to blame because he was really poor defensively. But then you could add some of the forward players. Savio was poor in that game. You know what I mean? Bernardo was poor. Gundogan poor again. So I think listen, we're just in this stage where we're just not cooking. We're not clicking. And then we finally found a solution that worked 2 games in a row, even though people might not say it worked to get final because of the result. But if you ignore the final 15 minutes collapse, we actually played okay. Not great, but we played okay. And then we played really well against Forest, and then we just sort of dipped it. So yeah, that's just a little bit frustrating for me, but it is what it is. We move. So yeah, there we go. I want to speak about Bruno G. Yeah, in fact, I'll come to these super chats. Does LB ever smile or asking for a friend? I smile all the time, bro. You're doing your crisis videos now, 7 weeks late. But
he smiles when he's with me because I brighten up his day.
Yeah, Martin's 7 weeks late to the party, bro. So I did mine 6-7 weeks ago. Let's have a look at some of these super chats, man. Big up to Happy Clapper says, if we are innocent, we should have got away with it. If we are innocent, we should have got away with it. Merch to really piss off the mutants. Also, oil money buys success. You broke it, says Happy Clapper. Bro, I'm ready to drop the £500 million. And by the way, I actually went through the squad today. I think to fully complete the rebuild, that's obviously not going to be over 1 season, right? I'm fully aware of that. But over 2 seasons, and Martin thinks it's going to take 2 seasons to complete the rebuild. I think you're looking at 500 million quid. I think you're looking at £500 million to complete the rebuild. I went through the players today, bro. All the players that I think are going to leave in the next 2 years. I think you're looking at £500 million.
Is that gross or net?
That's gross.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Really? That sounds like a lot instinctively.
I think Edison's going to leave this summer. If they go for a new number 1.
I didn't even think about Edison leaving.
So let me just quickly run through, right? Edison, I think, leaves this summer. I think the club will buy a new number 1. If they do, I think Ortega leaves. That's 2 goalkeepers that you need to buy. Yeah?
Yeah.
You need a Kyle Walker replacement, right? I think you need a new centre-back and maybe 2, right? You're going to need a Rodri backup. Yeah? I think you're going to need 2 new midfielders on top of the Rodri backup. I think you're going to need a winger, yeah? Because I think you're going to buy one anyway, or Grealish will probably leave either this year or next year. And then I do think you need to buy a backup striker. I think all that combined, it wouldn't surprise me if you're not going to be far off. It depends obviously who they go for. If they go for like these random Donnies, yeah, like this Pepperloo guy and stuff like that. But if you go for like decent players, you're not getting decent players now for less than 50, 60 mil. So I honestly think you could be looking at around 500 million quid over the next 2 seasons. That's insane.
To be fair, like in theory, 8 players could leave between now and the summer of 2026. So that sounds about right. To be fair, some of those will be on a free, but some will be sold as well. So yeah, your 500 gross might actually be quite reasonable over 2 seasons. In fairness, yeah.
I'd say it's over 2 seasons. I'm not saying it's it all in one, but that's why for me, I think you need to start this rebuild in January.
I agree.
Yeah, I really do. I think you're going to put if the club don't sign 2 or 3 players in January, I think they're going to put themselves under real pressure. So I'm not saying you need to sign 3 in January, otherwise I'm going to go sick. I don't really fucking care at this point. Honestly, I'm done with all the fucking debates and arguing. Yeah, I'm just saying how it is. If you don't sign 2 or 3 players in January, right, you're going to put yourself under massive strain in the summer. Because if Kevin De Bruyne leaves, you need to replace him. Yeah, that's tough. You have to buy a backup striker, I think. You have to buy a right back. You might have to buy a centre half. Is Grealish leaving? You need 2 goalkeepers. And I just don't want them to be in a situation where, like, Viana's coming in. And Viana might be screwed, man, off the rip in terms of, like, the expectation and the pressure to deliver. So I want them to start in January. I want them to get a right back, Bruno G, who we'll come on to in a second. And maybe if they get a right back, and I don't know, I'm sort of torn between buying another centre back and a backup striker. I don't know. I'm sort of torn on it.
I think that whoever we get, it's just this, because I agree 2 signings in Jan would be lovely. Whoever we get's got to be someone who we would have bought anyway. That makes sense. So we can't be signing someone for the sake of signing someone. We've got to sign someone who we would be wanting to get in anyway long term, rather than just doing another Nunes where we panic buy someone and now the squad's actually even more confused and worse off. So sign someone who you were going to get in the summer anyway. That's what I want us to do, whoever we get.
Yeah. Let me go through some of these super chats, man, and then we can speak about Bruno G hype.
my
Our
favorite.
defense should have got slack a long time ago, considering that some of the games, if our defense was good enough, we'd have more trophies, says professional happy clapper. Yeah, well, our defense has been poor for 2 seasons. It was poor last year.
Yeah, we talked about this last season, didn't we? We kept saying how Rodri was left on an island and that sort of thing. So yeah, you and I definitely chatted about this. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
no, 100%. I mean, because it was quite funny actually. I remember when we signed Gavardio, and I was looking at that Chelsea record, which, by the way, now I've completely realised that Chelsea record is one of the greatest records in English football history. Let me tell you that now. Yeah, that will never be broken in my opinion. But I remember looking at that, and I remember it was like done within 2 months. I was like, "Yo, like, that is insane." Arsenal have done it. Arsenal have done it today. Not today. Arsenal done it this season. Arsenal fans were looking at that Chelsea record this season. I think they were dusted after about 10 games as well. That Chelsea record, mate, of like what 15 goals was it they conceded in the whole season? And someone said to me a couple of weeks ago, I think like 6 of the goals were penalties as well. That's actually insane. Big up to Steve, says, could it be saving Doku and Grealish for Juve? Yeah, no, they clearly were not fit. I don't have a problem with them not being fit in terms of like not ready. They both just come back from injury. And I have myself said, I've issued caution on Doku, especially because I'm really concerned with Doku, given his muscle mass, given the type of body that he has. Yeah, he needs to be really careful, Doku, because he's an explosive type of player. And if he gets a few injuries and he loses a bit of that explosiveness, trust me, he'll be absolutely crap. I'm not chat shit on it. I'm saying if he loses that, his game is about stopping. You all stopping, and he goes, does it, bang, 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 and then goes around the outside, and he's explosive. He's got the speed, he's got the agility, he's got the acceleration to beat his man. Yeah. If he starts getting all these little injuries around his like thighs, hamstring, groin areas, and he slows down a bit, he's not going to offer me nothing. So I'm issuing caution on Doku. I'm saying be careful with him. I've not got a problem with him not playing Doku and Grealish against Palace. My problem is that he should have played Nunes in the middle, Savio on the left, Bernardo right wing. Yeah, so there you go. Big up Steve, man. Good question, though. Do you think the 115 case ending on time is good? I don't personally, bro. I don't think you can read anything into it whatsoever.
It doesn't tell us anything. Yeah.
No, exactly. Bill to Echo Fall says, feel bad for Rico, great talent, but someone of his size inverted into midfield with zero physicality exaggerates his weakness, plus limits his strength, says Echo Falls. I'd also say that when Rodri's there, it's fine. When Rodri's not there, not fine.
Yes. Again, we've touched on this before, haven't we? We're already frail in the middle, so introducing another frail person in the middle isn't ideal. But let's not. People are going too far the other way on Rico. Let's not forget that this guy set the blueprint for us to win the treble. So there is a very good player in there. And if he's only going to be a squad player long term, then so be it. But I've seen some people say that he's rubbish and we should sell him and blah blah blah. That's mental. He's a very talented, young player.
Him. Yeah. But I do think this period in which we're going through now is not ideal for Rico Lewis.
No, I would drop Rico if possible.
Yeah. Built to Balling Bandit says the backup DM for years, a slow, weak, aging midfield, 10 plus very injury prone players, a super wash right back, many liabilities in his squad, not enough assets, says the Balling Bandit. And the sad thing is, as harsh as that sounds, he's probably right. He is probably right.
Yeah, we're suffering. You know that there's a reason why we kept going on about it in the summer. You know, we want Bruno G, we want this player, we want that player, and it comes like the last few days, and it's a case of it's Gundogan or no one. And it's like that shouldn't be the situation that we're in. I think our leadership group came out and said, didn't they, that they got the year wrong in terms of the rebuild. They penciled in 2025 for the rebuild. But obviously, exactly. At least a year late. Maybe they could have done even after the. Obviously, hindsight's a thing. You don't want to break up the treble-winning team, but maybe even then that could have been a thing. You know, rebuild when you're still popping off, being brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I completely agree. All right, then let's speak about this Bruno G situation, man, because you was someone who was desperate, if I can say that, bro, for Bruno G.
Oh, I was. Yeah, gag him.
My actual first take was Kimmich. If you remember that, I wanted Kimmich. He was like, I'm not sure. I do. Kimmich actually would have been really useful this year as well because he could play right back, he can play DM. So that would have been a great signing if we could have got Kimmich. However, Sam Lee now saying that he's hearing that Newcastle. I did touch on this today, but obviously I want to get Nobbins' take and you guys in the chat. He's hearing that potentially Newcastle might have to sell and could be available for as little as 80 million euros, which is 66 million pounds. Now, I did say in the video, I thought that's quite low. And for me, I'd go up to 85 million quid, maybe even more, to be honest with you. He's only 27. He's only just turned 27 years old. Yeah, we also had Eddie Howe come out last week and say that they might have to sell players because of the financial situation. He says that he doesn't want them to be the big players, but he says he can't make any guarantees. So that's quite interesting how he said that. So within a week, we've heard Sam Lee coming out with this news about Bruno G, and the Newcastle manager speaking about the fact that they might have to sell players and they can't guarantee that it's going to be not going to be one of the big players. If we can get this deal done in January, I will be over the moon with this deal. For me, this gives me confidence. The league's done. I said this today. The league's done for me, but this could help us go for the Champions League. I think we need a little bit more. But if we can get him in the midfield with a Kovacic and a De Bruyne, I mean, stick Foden on the wing, Haaland up top, and then Savio, Doku, Grealish left wing, whatever, and have your flat back four, which we discussed of Akanji, Diaz, Ake, and Gvardiol, you're not telling me that team is not capable of going and winning the Champions League in a one-off game. You're really not. So for me, I want this. I'm desperate for it. I don't know whether it can happen. And I feel a little bit sad for Newcastle in the sense that they shouldn't have to sell players because FFP is a joke. So I'm just putting a disclaimer out there for the Newcastle fans in the chat watching. But if we can get this deal, mate, surely we have to be all over this.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's a reason why I did like a transfer target video in the summer and he was the main picture on the thumbnail. And I did like a whole section on him. I'm desperate for this player. He is literally the perfect player for what City need right now. He's the perfect partner for Rodri in the long term. He's the perfect player to come in and solve all of our issues short term as well. There is, in my opinion, no better option out there who is, attainable, because people might say, what about Bellingham? What about Rice? But I'm talking about people who are, somewhat attainable. And I think Bruno at Newcastle he's literally everything that we don't have. He is dual winning. He is ground coverage. He is a pass first player as well. He's also a fantastic ball carrier. He's also just great under pressure. He's great in the air. He's got a decent long shot on him. He's great at crashing the box. He is everything. He's the perfect 6'8" hybrid, in my opinion. He started playing at Newcastle as a 6. He's since developed, or rather, has played at 6 and 8 for Newcastle. He can do it all. He can fill in for Rodri when Rodri isn't there. He can play alongside Rodri when Rodri is there. He can play ahead of Rodri when Rodri is there. Can you imagine, if we got him in the summer, can you imagine like a box midfield of, Rodri, Bruno Guimarães, Foden, and Kevin De Bruyne? Like, that would just be mental. That would be ridiculously good if that could happen. He's 27 years old as well. I saw some people talking about his age. He's 27 years old. Like he's plug and play. He's ready. He just is not going to have to be a period where he gets up to speed with the Premier League. We know how good this guy is. He's not old. He's not washed. He's entering his prime. I
know, man. I think some of our fans have got PTSD with some of these older players, man. They're trying to tell me that he's literally just turned 27 last month, and I've got people trying to tell me that he's old. He's old. I'm like, bro, we won't have to think about
manager or FIFA.
Bro, it's insane. We won't have to think about a Bruno replacement for 5 to 6 years. Please, can we stop doing this? That he's old. He's not old. He's 27. He just turned 27.
Yeah.
What are we doing, man? Yeah, MLK says Fernandinho was 28 when we signed him, bro. For me, anyone under 29 is fine. Just get someone in. But saying that he's old, mate, yeah, when he's just turned 27, is honestly insane. I really, really do think it is. By the way, that injury record as well is mint. He's had 3 injuries in his career, and one of them was fucking coronavirus.
Yeah, I just, for me, there is no argument to not have him at City. There is no world in which I can't even begin to entertain an argument as to why you wouldn't want him. He's so good. He's one of the best through ballers in the league. I mentioned he tops the charts in respect of his dual winning in terms of ground coverage. We all know one of City's biggest issues. It's ground coverage and winning duels. Literally, he is perfect for all of our issues now and when Rodri comes back into the team, because Rodri will need someone to do lots of the ground coverage for him and the recovery pace for him, because Rodri's not going to solve that issue alone. He'll help with his physicality, but Rodri's not the paciest player, as we all know. He's someone to help him. That's what Bruno is. Can you imagine an out of possession pivot of Rodri and Bruno G? It's just, and if he's available, and what did you say, £70 million?
Well, that's the thing that he
Allegedly.
said, and I'm like, yo. So basically, that's what he's saying. I'm saying 85 mil, and I still play it. Yeah, I still pay it.
I'm
That's
paying
what he
like,
said. Apparently, on that, I've not
look,
heard it. My mate said he said my mate sent it me today and was like, yo, because I don't have the podcast, you have to pay for it, right? I don't have it. So he
I,
sent me the message and said, yo, this is what he said, and I was like, yo, what? And he said, yeah. He said 66 million quid.
he is worth however much Chelsea paid for Caicedo, for example. He is that transformative
What's his
midfielder.
contract situation? He's contracted until 2028 as well, so it's got 3 years left on his deal. I guess it depends. Are they really in that bad a shape for financial fair play? I mean, that's what Eddie Howe seemingly to suggest. Eddie Howe's saying that they're not in a good position financially. I don't know how bad their financial fair play situation is. Are they desperate to sell?
I have no idea, to be honest. But I thought they resolved it in the window. But the point is, if he's available for any reasonable amount in Jan, and I would consider a reasonable amount to be even 120 million, I don't care. I think he is that good and is that important to City.
Yeah.
I think go for it. If it's a figure under 100 million somehow, then obviously go for it. That would be a no-brainer. In my view, we should be doing everything we can to make that happen, especially if it is a possibility. I had no idea if it was even a possibility, to be honest with you.
Yeah, look at this. Harry said he spoke to a Newcastle fan. They said, yeah, it's the realization they don't have the Champions League money now.
They are. Where are they in the table? Are they like 8th or something like that? So yeah, they're not going to get Champions League this year, are they? So that again, sorry to Newcastle fans, obviously, but I adore Bruno Guimarães as a player, and if there's a chance that City can have him, then I think we should do everything in our power to do that. To be honest, 125 million, I don't care. Pay it. It's worth it. It's worth it to City specifically. What you can't put a price on solving all of City's issues with one player. I don't think you can put a price on that.
It looks to me like 2022, 2023 was where they got screwed because they spent 185 million euros, but only sold 14 million euros worth of player. And the year before that, 21, 22, they spent 130 million euros and sold £0 worth of player. And then even last year, they spent 140 and only got in 44 million. So they're not getting any more. And then this year was the first year they made a profit. They made £10 million profit. Yeah. So clearly this year
like a future-proofing thing or something.
Yeah, exactly. So they've got issues there, obviously, with that. So listen, I think the whole PSR is a lot of BS. So before Newcastle fans come at us, like, I think it's wrong that you're in this situation. But at the end of the day, if we're here to take a player off you, then I'm going to be for it because we need him. And I want him at the football club. And like I say, for me, it's like I spoke about it on today's video, and I was like, yo, I don't want to say this season's over because I don't want to say the season's over in December. Now, I think the league's done and toast, right? That's my opinion. Yep. If you guys want to think that the league's still on, no problem. I ain't going to disagree with you. Well, I'm going to disagree with you. I'm not going to call you out for it, though. I'll try not to. But the Champions League, the FA Cup, yeah, like these are 2 trophies that we can win. Now, can we win the Champions League right now with the current squad? No, we ain't. Yeah, no, I don't think. I think most people would agree with me. Yeah, that's probably unlikely considering we conceding 2, 3, 4 goals against pretty average sides in the Premier League. But if we bring in Bruno G and we get a little bit fortunate with the injuries to Gavadio, Ake, Diaz, and Akanji, right, and maybe throw Stones in there, you need 4 of them, right? Why can't we? Why can't we go and win the Champions League? Because exactly, this is the truth, man. You can scam a Champions League.
There have been some stinky teams who have won the Champions League. So, yeah, you definitely can.
I don't understand this mindset of like some City fans just completely writing off the season, right off the Premier League by all means. But the Champions League and the FA Cup are 2 trophies where we buy, even if we just get Bruno G, we could win the Champions League this year if we get Bruno G. We could win the FA Cup if we get Bruno G. Now, I'd like us to get more than that. I'd like us to get another defender. I'd like us to get maybe another attacker. But if you get Bruno G on his own and you get a little bit lucky with some injuries and that, you could defo win the Champions League or the FA Cup, man. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, we do need to qualify first. That's a good point. Yeah, big up now, man. But let's go and save this because at the moment the season's going down the pan quick time. Do you know what I mean? And I'm sort of at the point where I'm like, I'm out in misery when it comes to the Premier League. I'm sort of done with it. Like, I don't know if you guys see my reaction to the game and my match reaction to Palace. I wasn't mad. I wasn't fuming. I was just like disappointed, whatever. I've gone past that stage. But the Champions League, I'm still active. I'm still on it saying, come on, man. Because we can still win this trophy. We can still win the FA Cup if we're serious and if we buy the players that we need to in January.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we've still got Oscar Bob to come back this season as well. Don't forget that. We've got Echeverry coming in. You know, I don't know how he's going to be. Got a great assist last night. But come on, man. Let's not throw the whole season down. We've had a tough 2 months. Yeah. I'm sounding like a happy clapper here. But we've had a tough 2 months. Yeah. But the Champions League and the FA Cup is still there.
Of course. Yeah. And even if like we make the signing and we don't win anything, but it would be great to sign him anyway for next season. So why not sign him again if this player's available? Why not sign him like 4, 5, 6 months earlier than you normally would have done, and give him January to May to play loads of teams with the side, so that instead of he's got to sort of hit the ground running in August. No, he's already had like 4 or 5 months with the team. So when we're on for like the title race next season, you can just go straight away. You don't even have to worry about that. So it works both ways.
Exactly, because this is another thing. You're spot on. People always say, we need a year to bed the players in, right? Because Pep Guardiola, we need a year. Well, yeah, why wouldn't you buy him now then? Because if we wait, we don't buy anyone in January, and then we buy him in the summer, everyone's going to be saying, oh, we need to give him a year. We need to give him a year. Well, if we buy in 5 or 6 players in the summer, which is possible, please don't think that's completely like not out. That is possible, bro. If we lose both our goalkeepers, which is very possible, you lose Walker, you lose De Bruyne, yeah, and maybe Gundogan or Kovacic, you're going to have to buy 5 or 6 players. We're going to be in a situation in the summer where, well, it's another transition year, boys, because we need to give everyone a year. Why wouldn't we start that process in January? Yeah, go and get me Bruno G. Go and get me a right back, yeah, or a centre half or something like that, yeah. And you know what? The backup striker situation, I do think it's poor that we've not got one, and I would go and get one. However, at this moment in time, I think we need to prioritize defenders, because our defenders are really, really poor in terms of form and in terms of injuries, right? We've got Kyle Walker, who is just really bad at the moment, sorry to say. You've got Ake, who can't stay fit. You've got John Stones, who can't stay fit. You've got Rico Lewis, who's going through a tough patch. Some people don't even say he's a defender. Yeah, so what you left with? Yeah, you're left with Diaz, Gavadio, and Akanji. Akanji's been nursing an injury for the last 2 months, apparently, right? Gavadio is had a little bit of a rough time over the last couple of weeks because, in my opinion, I'm putting that all down to just fatigue, because he's played every single game since he's been here and had no rest. And then Diaz, who single-handedly is trying to run our whole defence. I don't know what you thought about him on Palace, but Ruben Diaz was one of the only defenders there who's actually trying to do shit. You know what I mean? I thought he was brilliant against Crystal Palace. And at some point, I'm telling you now, at some point, if Ruben Diaz is kept playing in this situation where everyone around him's poor, he's going to end up being poor, or he'll end up doing something stupid, getting sent off, dropping form because he's focusing about other stuff. So for me, I am actually, if you said to me you can only get a defender or an attacker, I'd probably go for a defender.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that we've got enough offensive players to make it work, but they do need to be platformed correctly, and they need to have like the solid foundation behind them. I don't think it's not a coincidence for me that our attack looked a lot nicer against Forest. I know Forest were a little bit suspect, but I don't think it's a coincidence that our attackers just looks a lot happier. That's an intangible there. But if you're a player and you know that your defense is poor behind you, or your midfield support is poor behind you, it's going to be playing on your mind, and you'll realize, right, if I lose the ball here, then the whole team is shafted. And I think that plays on your mind, and then you lose the ball more. Whereas if you're able to play with freedom because you know that the guys behind you, you can trust and rely on them, then I think you don't even have to think about that, and you just play more naturally, and you don't lose the ball as much. So yeah, so there's definitely like intangibles as well as tangible things there. It all comes from the starting point. The defense has got to be competent, and the support for that defense has got to be competent, and then from there you can probably attack better.
Yeah, fully agree. Bally Bandit says, LB, do you think City board care too much about perception that they don't need to overspend? I don't know, because only they will know. Only they know why they didn't spend this summer. Only they know why they did. Well, they tried to spend after the treble. This is why I'm very balanced, man. I'm going to be real with you guys, yeah? I'm a very, very balanced fan. I don't cook City too much for the treble summer in terms of not getting a midfielder, because they tried. They tried to get Bellingham, they tried to get Rice, they tried to get Lucas Paqueta, and all three of them didn't happen for various different reasons. Now, what they shouldn't have done really is panic bought Nunes if Pep didn't really want him. Yeah, that's what they should have done. They should have gone, right, I tell you what, we're not back. Well, they could have moved on to Bruno, they could have got someone else. But if you don't panic buy players. Don't buy players just for the sake of it, because then you end up in a situation that we're in now with Nunes, where it's irrelevant what I think about Nunes. It's irrelevant what Nobbins thinks about Nunes. It's irrelevant what you think about Nunes. Pep don't like this guy in the midfield. So it's pointless. It's the same with McAtee. I like McAtee. I wish he would have got some more minutes. Completely irrelevant, because Pep don't trust a guy, don't play him. So, it's all good saying, oh, give Nunes time. He'll come better in his second season, which he has to a degree, but it's clearly not at the level that required for us, because Pep don't play him. So it's pointless. Don't buy players unless Pep gives them the cosign, because otherwise, and that's quite funny, because I said buy a backup striker. I think it's different with a backup striker, because it's a backup striker. I'm talking midfield. I'm talking centre. I'm talking like crucial positions, yeah? Don't do it. Because otherwise you end up in a situation where you just got Nunes playing a couple of games left wing, and it's just like, well, we spent 50 million quid on him. And that itchy goal. Bro, Nunes is doing fantastically well. He's outperforming. He's doing great, bro. Like, fair play to him. But he's not playing in the position that we need him, because Pep ain't playing him there. This is not a slag off on Nunes. I like Nunes. I've said this all along. I think he's a good player. My problem with Nunes is not nothing to do with him. It's the fact that Pep don't clearly like him. He don't play him. When he does, he sticks him on the left. So that's where I'm at with it, man.
Yeah, he was brought in to be a central player, and he's not played in the centre this season, practically, apart from a couple of instances. So, yeah, I just don't really see the point of him being here if you're not going to do that, Pep. So just sort it out, please. Thank you. Especially if Grealish isn't available, then that must happen, surely.
Yeah.
And yet, it isn't.
I know. FFP is over. It's the case. The case is over. The legal case. We now just wait, bro. We're just waiting for the outcome. But yeah, the case is finished. It finished on Friday. So yeah, that was it. We just wait now. I don't know how long it's going to take. Do you have any idea how long that could take, bro? A couple of months, maybe? I don't know.
Months, yeah.
Do you not think they'll do like a preliminary outcome first, to say our preliminary outcome is Manchester City are not guilty, Manchester City are guilty? We will release the full document in 3 months, because it takes 3 months. Or do you reckon they'll just like wait for the 3 months, have the full? Because Stefan was saying that like it could be like 500 pages long or something. So could they not just release like a first document to say, right, our outcome is City are guilty, City are not guilty. Brief explanation. The full details will be released in 3 months when we've had time to write the 500 pages. But we just wanted to let people know.
That would be. I'd like them to do that, but I think that officially they probably won't do that. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe they informed like the parties, and maybe that gets leaked or whatever. Yeah. Maybe an outcome gets leaked before we receive like the final judgment, maybe. But it wouldn't surprise me likewise if like this was airtight, because you shouldn't be leaking it. Like obviously, it wouldn't surprise me if like we just got verdicts along with judgment, and maybe that's for the best, because if you just say this and you don't know the surrounding context, that might be a bad situation, in fairness, and they'd just be like hanging around waiting to know, well, why sort of thing.
Yeah. No, defo. All right, man, big up to you. Martin Ziegler tweet. I can't find his Twitter. Has he blocked me? Why can't I find it? What's his at?
Has he blocked me?
I don't know what his at is. What's his at, bro? Do you know?
No,
I just spell his surname as well. I don't know how you spell his surname.
I feel like there's an E in the surname.
The default is. Why can't I find it, man? Why can't I not find it? Why don't I type in Martin Z? Nothing comes up.
Oh, someone's popped it in the chat, I think.
This one.
No, MH96. And just on that, Craig, I agree, but we've seen before stuff still gets leaked, even though you shouldn't be leaking it. So take that however we want.
Oh shit, yeah. Because his name's not spelt Martin, it's Martin with a Y. It says here, Manchester City could learn fate next month, but the appeal could drag on. Manchester City could learn their fate over the charges for multiple alleged breaches of Premier League rules before the end of January. But legal experts think that any appeal will drag on until next season. The hearing into the more than 100 alleged rule breaches over a 14-year period came to an end on Friday after nearly 3 months. Let's have a look. One senior legal source told The Times that the 3-man panel would be acutely aware of the attention focused on the outcome of the case and will be working flat out to get their judgment as soon as possible. That could be by the end of January, according to one source. So, yeah, maybe City do get... You might be right on that, bro. Maybe City will find out. They're saying it might get found out next month. And then he ends it with, the club have insisted they have irrefutable evidence to support their case, bro.
I feel like that's always dragged out. This evidence, I better be good. That's the thing as well.
I know. Well, they say it's irrefutable, bro.
Well, it better be, because you've been saying it for years, so we'll find out, won't we?
Irrefutable means
You've been little liars or not.
Yeah, bro, it means impossible to deny or disprove. So I'm this is why, like, when people say to me, like, what you think about 115, I've always said from day one, I don't know. Don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're innocent or guilty because I've not seen the evidence. Yeah, I've seen some of it at the Cass case, but I ain't seen all of it because this case includes some new stuff. Right, so I don't know. Don't ask me whether I think they're guilty or not. I have no idea. Yeah. However, the club say they have irrefutable evidence, which means they have evidence that is impossible to deny or disprove. You can't lose the case after telling me that you have evidence which is impossible to deny or disprove. Otherwise, you've either lied to us or you didn't have irrefutable evidence. In which case, it's a lie anyway. So you can't lie, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they've said it. So we'll, I admire people who say trust the club and blah blah blah. I've never been one of those people. I'll wait and see. Based on the evidence we do have that's in the public domain, they won't be found guilty. But that's only what's in the public domain. So
we don't know exactly. We don't know if they've got any new evidence. I still think,
and there will be lots of new evidence as well. Loads.
Facts, yeah. I still think the stuff about Mancini and Torre, I think that can be easily explained away. Yeah, Mancini got a contract with some club in United Arab Emirates. All they have to do, yeah, is do a statement, this club, and say, bro, it was a legit contract. He came and worked for us 4 times a year, whatever. It was all legit. What are they going to say? They're going to say it wasn't. They're going to find us guilty and say it wasn't. How are they going to prove that wasn't a legit contract? If they can, I thought that's literally as simple as it is. They can't say that wasn't a legit contract. If you've got a literal business saying, yeah, this was legit, but how are you going to, unless they have some mad evidence to show that it wasn't legit, then that should be fine. Same with the Yaya Torre. So I think the Yaya Torre or the Mancini one should be okay. When it comes to the Etihad deals, again, unless they've got some mad evidence, from what I read at the cast, there's nothing there to me that suggests that like a golden bullet or whatever for the Premier League. Then it's just like we don't know if they've got anything else that or any other charges that sort of cast didn't look at. So yeah, anyway, that's where I'm at with it. All right, and bro, big up to you, man. Make sure you guys smash the like on the stream if you've not done so already. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
I think you got another super chat.
Oh yeah, we did. Big up to some million. Says, yo guys, take a page from Diogo Pablo Simone at Atletico Madrid. They had a stinky start to the season. He reversed that by making the defense solid and nicking 1-0s. And now they're scoring 3 or more goals per game. Wins build confidence. That is facts, bro. Definitely facts.
It is, but we don't have the players to do that.
We don't have the facilities.
We do not have the facilities to play like low block defensive football and like counter with De Bruyne and all, and like we just get picked apart just as easily. That's the issue.
Yeah. I'm fully game to do that, 7 million, but we can't. We don't have the capacity. You know what I mean? We do not have the abilities to do that. So yeah, it is what it is. All right, then, boys. Big up, man. I'm jumping on Dan Potts' channel now. Well, I don't think I'm getting cooked actually because United lost. Arsenal dropped points again. So yeah, that's a chiller. I will be doing a couple of watch-alongs tomorrow, though, lads. I'm going to watch Girona at 5:45, I think. And then I'm going to watch a few games tomorrow at the 8 p.m. I'm going to have a multi-screen. I'm going to go Atalanta, Real Madrid and watch Ederson. I'm going to watch Bayer Leverkusen versus Inter Milan and watch Frimpong, Wirtz, Alonso, maybe, bit of Barella ball. And then I'm going to watch Shakhtar Donetsk versus Bayern because it's Vincent Kompany versus Sudakov. who
Nice.
has been rumored to be the Kevin De Bruyne replacement. So, yeah, we'll see. He was shit. I've only watched him once. He was shit.
Nice.
But I give everyone a second chance, bro.
Got it.
And everyone I watch is crap for some reason. I don't know why. When I do watch-alongs on these players, bro, they're all awful. I don't know what, some sort of like jinx, bro.
They're
It's
nervous.
insane.
They know you're watching. They know you're scouting.
It's wild, man. I watched Edison. He was awful. I watched Sudakov. Awful. To be fair, Richie actually wasn't that bad. I just don't think he's for right now. I actually didn't mind Richie, but like for right now, nah. Yeah, and then I need to check this Pepelu guy out as well because we've been linked with him for like 20 million. So I'll start watching him. But yeah, anyway, yeah, Zubermendi was good, legit. That's actually a good point. There we go. Maybe if LB stop watching, City will win games. Might be true. Might be true. I'll have to test it out sometime. All right, lads. Big up, man. Smash up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well. If you need. Oh, Craig, we can't get Miguel Gutierrez in the summer. I thought it was till the end of the season. The UEFA ban is till September 2025. So we can't buy it for Miguel Gutierrez.
Why?
UEFA have banned Manchester City and Girona doing any business.
Oh, sorry. I see. Yes.
Because we're in the same competition. And I thought it ended at the end of the season. And someone messaged me today. I'll tweet me and said, nah, it's not until September. I said, what? I Googled it. Legit. The UEFA ban on Manchester City Girona isn't till the end of the season. It's till September next year. So we can't buy Miguel, man. We might be able to do some sort of like pre-agreement where he comes in January next season. But yeah, we can't get him in the summer, which is gutting. Anyway, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Nobbins as well, man. Cracking videos out on his channel, a lot more in depth and detailed than mine. So yeah, go and check him out. Make sure you guys smash a like. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one for tomorrow as well. Major watch along day. See you next one. Peace out. I will end the